Our lesson for reflection today is on greed. The interesting thing about greed is that although the underlying motive is to seek satisfaction, even after obtaining what you want, you're still not satisfied. No matter how much you have, no matter how much more you get, you always want more. What you have is never enough. It is an endless, nagging desire for more that leads you into trouble. It is this need for self-gratification that leads to sin. And it is why greed is one of the 7 deadly sins. We call them the deadlies. Greed is a deadly exactly for how it is described. You are always striving for more. It might be greed for power, greed for position. Ambition is a greed, in some cases, for some people. They are focused only on the next rung of the ladder, achieving the highest office, such that they destroy that which they desire in the process of obtaining it. Such is politics. Such is the highest level of executive positions, and some very toxic relationships. In our gospel, we see greed in 2 forms, one in each son. The younger son desired for life elsewhere. His ambition was to live a life of luxury and without responsibility. Ironically, to live the life of a gambler, one must live wisely and only appear to live loosely. For if one lives too loose, the next game's stake is lost, and then your income is lost too. This son was cured of his greed by starvation, a wonderful and sure cure for most. The older son was greedy for his father's love, though he had it all, and he had it all the time. This son had all the riches at his hand at all times, but he was so filled with anger and envy for his brother that he couldn't see through the haze to see the love that he had. So blinded was he by envy and anger, and below that anger his true feelings of grief and abandonment. He couldn't see or feel his father's love because he was looking for his brother's lost love. You never know what you have until you have lost it. In the case of the prodigal son, what was lost is again found. The father rejoices at the return of the son, who was lost and dead to sin, but is returned to life of value and goodness. He has rejected sin. The older son reacts in covering anger, not because he wanted a bloody party with his friends, but because there was still the envy, the jealousy that his younger brother got to go out into the world, sin, and return home. But the anger was covering for the pain of his brother had cost him. The older brother didn't want to forgive the younger. There is greed in emotion too. Greed is a sin, and it leads inevitably to more sin. Most often, the sin of greed is caused in the abuse of the poor, as we have most often seen in the last 3 years. That is the most grievous sin, for it lowers a person's threshold to doing greater harm to an individual or to a large group of individuals. It is a very small step from cheating someone out of their life savings, to having them hurt or killed to ensure to keep those monies. And having done it once, it is a simple thing to doing it online to hundreds or thousands of faceless others who are mere numbers after all. You see how easy evil steps into the mind once a single deadly sin has taken hold. And you see now why they are called the 7 deadlies. Beware of greed, for it allows the devil into your mind and into your heart. The older son with envy allowed the devil into his heart. The younger son told the devil, "Be gone," because he rejected the sin and came back to life. That is why he was dead and returned to life. The older son, he bears watching. He can't recognize life and love in front of him. He's always looking for something more. He always wants something that he cannot have. He has greed inside of him, and he can't recognize it.